This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hi everyone, just a quick announcement that we'll be taking a weekend off for a brief summer break, but we'll be back with more TaleSpin before you know it. So don't sweat it, enjoy the episode, and don't forget to subscribe.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And it's Grace's turn to tell us another tale of action, adventure, and probably crime from the one and only show, our new show that we are covering in this arc, TaleSpin.
Yes. Whoa-yo.
TaleSpin. TaleSpin. It's going to be like a Pavlovian experiment of just like either hearing OEO or hearing the word tailspin, and like you're going to like
one or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a call and response.
Yeah. It'd be great. Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Amazing.
So, take it away.
Thank you.
Away on the seaplane, if you will.
Oh, we'll take you in a seaplane. So today I am going to be covering season 1, episode 23 of TaleSpin, entitled "A Star is Torn," which is, of course, a riff on "A Star is Born," as we well know, based on Bert's reaction. She also knew.
Yeah.
TBH, I've never seen "A Star is Born."
Any of them or?
Any of them.
I guess any of them. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them. There's been 4, which I did note that I guess the theme of the film is to always make the female lead be an icon, because the original was in 1973. And I don't know who this was because it was 1937. I don't know who this was because it's 1937. It was Janet Gaynor was the lead actress. And then 1954, Judy Garland.
Yes, that one I knew. Yeah.
Barbara Streisand. And then, of course, 2018, Lady Gaga. The one that we all have probably seen if we have seen it, which I have not.
They love a woman with a powerful, beautiful voice and a powerful, beautiful nose.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure about Judy Garland, but yeah.
Well, she had like a petite nose, so that was part of it.
It was powerful and beautiful in another way. Yeah.
Exactly. Those are the 2 key aspects to be the lead of A Star is Born.
But great nose.
We mentioned before, the titles don't really actually have to, the plot is not similar to the title of the episodes. The title of the episodes is just like a fun pun or play on something famous.
True.
So, whatever the plot of A Star is Born, I didn't look it up because I was like, that's not what this plot is. So
I hope not, having seen.
It's not. Okay, I loosely know what it's about. It's not.
Okay. It's like, is Rebecca about to go through some shit?
Like, oh God.
No.
Who's the Barbara Streisand of this?
Yes.
So, anyways, we start our episode off with Rebecca storming out of a very nice restaurant. She's wearing, it's clearly nice, like a pencil skirt and a blouse. Her hair is extra done nice, but she is storming out and yelling behind her that she has never been so embarrassed in her entire life. And that source of embarrassment comes out behind her. What/who do we think it is?
Unfortunately.
Yes. And Baloo, who is also a little more dressed up. He's got like a little like blazer on this time. Like his button up is fully buttoned up, still disheveled. He's got a tie. He's wearing like an aviator like cap on, which I guess is him dressing nice. And hilariously, his comforting of Rebecca/Becky is by saying, now, Rebecca, please. Of course you've been more embarrassed before.
Oh,
It's like, probably true.
I've known you for a while.
Yeah, I've done worse.
This isn't the worst. Yeah.
So may I remind you of all the other times I've embarrassed you? There's plenty.
At least he's honest.
So, yeah, exactly. Blue, if anything, is honest. So Becky pauses and is like, You know what? That's actually a really good point. Yeah, you've done a lot worse. And like, it was kind of funny how you turned our really charming, nice dinner into a football game by throwing things around.
Oh no.
So I don't know what happened there. We don't learn more, but
So yeah.
Becky's fine and is like, okay,
Yeah.
that was kind of funny. You're right, which will only encourage this man into continuing his bad behavior.
Exactly. He's just gonna get worse. All right.
Yep. But with that, like laughter and forgiveness, Baloo relaxes and he says, Rebecca, you actually seem like you're starting to have a good time. Like, you better watch out or someone's going to start thinking we're friends. And he puts his arm around her, which at this point I was like, skirt, what? Hold on. What is happening? Was this a business meeting? Was this platonic friendship? Is this a show where eventually through the all 60 episodes, do they end up together? Is friend Disney code for girlfriend? Like, what is happening?
Well, they said they were inspired by Cheers so much with like the Baloo and Rebecca dynamic.
Yes.
And like that was a whole will they, won't they? And God, I'm showing my age or lack thereof right now because I honestly forget how it ended. If Rebecca, or not either. Rebecca, oh my God. If Kirstie Alley and Ted Danson's characters got, because I used to watch Cheers growing up with my parents a lot, but I don't know if they ever got together, but it was always like the will they, won't they? It was like Ted and Robin, you know, Joey and fucking Jennifer Aniston's character, or not Joey, sorry.
Ross and Rachel.
David Schwimmer, Ross and Rachel, thank you. Clearly Friends was not my favorite sitcom, but there is that dynamic.
Yeah. And so I was picking up on this right here. And yeah, that's a great way to put it. Of like, will they, won't they? Is this a thing? Is this not a thing? Like, so ambiguous. So I'm interested to see like through the arc of our episodes, like, what becomes of this situation. And I will say it's kind of funny of like how our episodes have lined up of like, the first one, obviously, we were focused on Baloo a little more. The second one was really focusing on getting to know Kit, I feel like. And this one is really focused on getting to know Becky. So, like, slash Rebecca. So this is a good, we accidentally lined this up to really get to know our three main characters.
No, we did. We did this on purpose, Grace.
Yes. Duh. We plan everything. So, even more so, my will they, won't they, like questioning, which again is now about to be the theme of this episode. Rebecca puts her head on his shoulder as they walk away, literally into the moonlight, and says, Baloo, call me Becky. And I think I'd like being friends. So again,
they will.
Alexis
Today they
her
will.
money.
Tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll be like, ooh, they won't. Never mind.
Like every other line.
I'll just have to keep coming back. We just have to keep coming back every week to know, will they?
Have to tune in. Won't they? We don't know. But Baloo agrees it would be nice to be friends. And if they were friends, which he already thinks they are, they'd always trust each other, help each other out, and they'd stick together no matter what. Which Becky, of course, agrees. Like, yes, this is tenets of good friendship,
yes,
if you will.
Nothing more,
nothing less, indeed, as well.
Just friendship,
maybe. So
tune in next week to find out.
Hangs up this episode now. So they start to walk off. They're in the city here at Cape Suzette, off into the moonlight. They're like downtown when they notice a crowd of people gathering under like a really, really brightly lit like street corner here in downtown. And Baloo, being a giant, tall sloth bear, is able to see that like the lights are coming down from what actually looks like scaffolding. And down below, he sees cameras, he sees some chairs lined up, and he's thinking and realizing like, oh, this could possibly be a movie set, actually. Like, I think they're filming something here right now. And so he gets really excited. He goes, a real life movie is being filmed, and dashes off to see it happen. And as a side note here, you live in a big city. You've lived in big cities your whole life. Cincinnati's pretty big. Have you ever been around a movie being filmed like live, like while you're like walking to get a coffee, or like streets were closed for it or anything like that?
Unfortunately, no, which makes me sad because a lot of films get filmed in Cincinnati and a lot of films get filmed in DC. I used to work for the government agency that let
Yeah,
films film in DC, and I've still not seen a film set in person. I'm pissed. Anyway,
Did
no,
you
go on.
did you know
Remind
that
me.
I think it was last year, if not the year before, that yes, a lot of films have been starting to get filmed in Cincinnati, that Robert De
Mhm.
Niro and Deborah Messing filmed like a movie in Cincinnati, like a mob movie. Are
Oh,
you aware of
no.
this? Well, it's coming out this fall. And do you know who else
Hmm.
is in that movie?
No, not off the top of my head. But it sounds
Because
like someone that. Oh, go ahead.
you know
Yeah.
them. You love them. An
Oh, don't you
extra
dare say.
in
Oh,
more than one scene, Keith Olskamp.
no way.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
man. I was waiting for you to say Jim Cummings.
A
That's even
second runner
better.
up for amazingness.
Yeah, no, that's better. Sorry, Jim,
So,
but this is
context,
important.
everyone.
Do
That's
tell.
my dad. He's
Nice.
amazing. And yes, he got to be in multiple scenes with Robert and Deborah because he was retired and was like, I
Oh,
don't know, I'll fuck around and be
yeah.
in this
Yeah, I'll
movie
go
like as
down
an
there.
extra.
Yeah.
They had a calls for extras and stuff. So he went in one day,
Yeah.
he got to be in one scene, and they were like, we're calling you back for another scene.
Come on
So
in. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I didn't write down what the movie was called, but I think it's coming out this November, everyone. Whatever the new Robert De Niro,
Ooh.
Deborah Messing, like loosely based on real story mob movie. Keep your eye
Yeah.
out. I think it's a church scene and a dinner scene. If someone who
Mm,
looks like me is in it, that's my dad.
that's him. Yeah, who looks like Grace if she were an older man.
Exactly. We
That's
look very
that's Keith.
similar.
You do actually. You and your brother
Yes.
both look just like your dad. Nice.
Yep.
That's
So
hilarious. I'll be like, wait, is that Grant?
I know, just you rewinding it. Like I'm gonna go see this movie in
Yeah.
theaters simply because Keith is in it, and
Yeah.
we are so
That's
excited.
amazing. Yeah.
Anyways, I that was a shameless self-plug when I saw this. I was like, well, obviously I'm gonna mention this.
Gotta add
Alexis will
this
be
in.
excited.
I am.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So,
Mhm.
anyways, Baloo kind of gets in front of the crowd. You know, he's a giant bear, so people move out of the way for him. Just as the director, who's like a little platypus in like an old school like Hollywood director's outfit with like an ascot and like the high boots and stuff,
Okay.
yells action. And
Mhm.
the scene starts, and we do a really slow pan up, starting from the ground up, starting from the pair of pumps standing on the ground. A
Okay.
slow pan up. We see the very sparkly navy dress with the slit
Yeah.
coming up the front, accentuating all of the curves to be on what's a blonde bombshell,
All
batting
right.
her eyes, sauntering across the movie set and humming along. And she's some type of like wild jungle cat. At first, I was like, is this a
Okay.
lion? And then I was like, wait, this actually seems maybe more like a puma, which is the same as a
Okay.
mountain lion, which is the
Cougar.
same as a
Yeah.
cougar. And so I
Yeah.
decided she's a cougar because it's funny.
Cougar. Yay. I agree.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Good
And
choice.
her like whole vibe is like a mixture of like sounding like Lauren Bacall, like the old Hollywood starlet with the
Mm.
deep raspy voice, and then like a more toned down actual like children's appropriate version of Jessica Rabbit from like
Okay,
Who Finished
good.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
But like
funny.
again, for actual children, because real
Yes,
Jessica
that
Rabbit
was
not made for TV.
not at all. No, no, no.
Not safe for work.
Not exactly, not made for
For
kids.
children. Yes.
Mhm.
And Baloo knows exactly who this starlet is. He's sitting there. He's got the hearts in his eyes. He is trying to
Mm,
keep it cool, as are all the people watching
yeah,
her
I
on
imagine.
set. Yes, this is the starlet named Kitten Caboodle, a
Ah,
play on the idiom the whole kit and caboodle, which is like the whole package, which she is.
can I
Whenever
say
she,
too that I'm sorry,
yes,
just I think the very first time I ever heard the phrase kitten caboodle was from you. I don't think
really?
that like I've never heard anyone else say that phrase literally. So the fact that that's her name makes it amazing. Maybe Maybe my mom has used it. I don't think so, though. I swear, like you said it once on this podcast, and I was like,
what are you talking about?
but I knew what it meant. I mean, in the context, so I was like, oh, great, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's keep that.
Steph and I are besties, your mom and I.
You guys
so
are like this.
It would make sense that we both use the same
pretty
terminology.
sure somehow you and I were switched in the hospital somehow.
Exactly. Steph knows I'm her favorite of all three of her actual children, plus me.
Kids. Exactly.
There's me. Me and Reese are her favorite.
Exactly.
So, yes, Kitten Caboodle is indeed the whole Kitten Caboodle, the whole package.
Incredible.
Whenever she appears on
no
screen,
notes.
no notes. She's got like the blue eyeshadow, the big lashes. She's got the blonde flowing hair. Every time she appears on screen, there's like a like the start of like a jazzy burlesque show is about to happen.
And like you hear the double bass coming.
Yeah. She only moves in slow motion.
Amazing.
Everyone else is regular motion, but time waits for her is the energy.
I need them to bring her back in the new, like if they revive this. But like you see people like walking normally by her, and she's still moving in slow motion. Yeah, and someone's like, "Move out of the way!"
Get out of the way,
like old lady who's not jealous of her. Yeah,
yeah, and then she like turns slow motion with her hair though, and they're like, "Oh, sorry."
She's the whole Kitten Caboodle.
You.
I wonder what her name is.
I wonder what her name is. That's definitely like, how like Hollywood stars have like fake names. Her like real name is like Meredith Sheridan, and they were like, no, that's not gonna work in Hollywood.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
We're gonna dye your hair. This mousy brown is not gonna work. You're gonna be bleach blonde, and your name is Kitten Caboodle now.
Exactly.
And lower your voice.
Like is going
3
extra
octaves.
tight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Amazing.
So eventually Kitten, who sometimes they call Kiki,
is adorable.
I know. And so she's filming the scene where she's just strutting her stuff down the street, but she stops acting, like she stops dead in her tracks because she hears a creaking noise, and she looks up at the lights on the scaffolding like above and notices that one of the lights is starting to swing and like come loose. And we hear right as this light literally starts to fall on, like about to hit her, she shouts, "No, not another accident," and goes into like freeze mode, like unable to run as it's like starting to fall on her. But seeing a damsel in distress, good old Baloo leaps out onto set and literally sweeps Kitten Caboodle off her feet like a goddamn hero, moving her out of the way right as the light falls and crashes onto the ground.
Wow.
She, slumped in his arms, whispers, "My hero," before passing out. Which, even though
the Oscar goes to...
She's like, "You were filming that, right?
Right? You got that?
I didn't hear you say cut.
We're good?"
Yeah.
Who is this man? Are you a stunt double?
Are you? I didn't meet you before. Did I get your name? Tom Cruise? Who is this? So, right as she passes out, like any good Hollywood set and Hollywood starlet, there is, of course, the paparazzi there who go crazy seeing this happen. Light almost falls on Kitten Caboodle. Random hulking, mysterious man comes and saves her in his arms. She passes out. And so, of course, they go crazy taking photos of this. And the next day, the photo of Baloo holding her in his arms is, of course, front page news, because as we know, newspapers love juicy celebrity stories, always have, always will. They're like,
love Baloo too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is not the first time he's made it to the front page. In fact, like the third time, I would say.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, exactly. Blue is always on gracing those pages. And yes, the newspapers are like, "Who is this mysterious man?" As if they didn't just write about him 2 days ago. And Baloo is obsessed with making the front page in this context. He has filled the hire for hire office with newspapers. which Becky is not too happy about. She's like, this is like clogging up the office. Like, I have worked hard to make this office nice, and now you're bringing this trash in here. Like, how many copies do you need? One at most. Like,
Right.
let's clear this up, buddy. And as Becky is telling him to like clear all this shit out, he starts accusing her of being jealous that he got to be on the front page and she didn't make it to the front page, even though she was there that night too. And she is like, no, I'm not. I just want my office to be nice. And they start bickering about it.
And
And it
lover's
gets
quarrel, perhaps.
Perhaps, or a friendship platonic quarrel. We simply
friends
don't
to argue.
know.
Come back next week to find out.
We promise we won't have a filler episode on this plot line.
No.
Straight to the point. So this quarrel of some variety gets interrupted by Kit, who takes a phone call, and it turns out to be from the movie studio executives who are calling to ask Baloo to come do a stunt for the new Kit and Caboodle movie that she had been filming that night. Basically, they were like, we see good press happening. Get him in this movie. Now,
Facts.
He's not an actor. We can't trust him with an actual role. Stunt double.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But he's big and strong. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that is a perfect role for this guy. So Baloo, of course, immediately says yes. And Becky steps in saying, since when do you take jobs without asking your boss first? Which...
Oh, power move.
Power move. And Baloo, some kind of move, manipulating move perhaps, says, but I'm not asking my boss. I'm asking my friend, Becky.
Oh.
My friend.
Oh.
Becky, though, she's heard it all before. She didn't give a fuck about that friend move until Kit whispers how much Baloo's going to get paid for the stunt. And Becky says, all right, get your bags. Let's go.
We're all going. Family trip. Friend
Kit,
trip.
Wildcat, Baloo, Becky. All going. I think they call it Starrywood instead of Hollywood or something like that.
Nice.
So yes, they're all going to, for all intents and purposes, Hollywood now, somewhere else in Cape Said. So Kit and Caboodle's personal limo comes and picks the four of them up, and they drive to the studio lot. You know, it's the classic big sprawling lot full of sets. Different scenes are going on like every other corner. There's actors, you know, having their lunch fully in costume. There's trailers. You got people taking, you know, little tours around it. You know, there's people have to get around on golf cart to get from point A to point B. It's the classic what you picture a Hollywood, like full studio
bustling, booming studio. Yeah,
exactly. Every warehouse is a different movie going on. It's hustling. It's bustling. The stars are here. It's got it all. Yeah. So they pull up to set where Kit and Caboodle is finishing a scene. And when she sees the car pull up, she saunters, because reminder, she only saunters. She only has one speed.
That's right. Slow-mo saunter.
Saunters down to greet them. And like, is currently dressed. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie she's currently filming? She is currently dressed and not in like it's more in like a good for you girlfriend, like work what you got way than a shaming way. But as I can only describe as like a slutty Halloween pirate costume. She's got like the shortest skirt on. She's got simply like a leather like bralette with like the white like poofy shirt that's also a crop top and like a pirate's hat on, and that's it. And Baloo sees her and goes, boy, does she shiver my timbers.
Oh God.
Disney.
There's a lot of there's some underlying jokes there.
Disney. But again, she looks great. She saunters right on down for like,
go off, girl.
Exactly. She's like, I picked this out for myself, actually. Thank you very much.
She's like, I'm my own costume designer. I read the script. I picked out all my own outfits.
Exactly. I said
from my own closet because I already have this at home.
I already have this. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So Kitten comes down. She opens the like car door for everyone. Baloo gets out, Kit gets out, Wildcat gets out. She's really paying attention to Baloo here. Like, I'm so glad you could make it. Thank you for coming. She's not paying attention. Right after Wildcat gets out, she just slams that door shut, right in Becky's face.
Damn.
It is a little hard to tell if it was on purpose or if she was just too busy, like, talking to Baloo, because she immediately goes up to Blue, embraces him, calling him a big hunk of bear, holding his face and saying, "Do you want a personal tour of the studio?" Which, of course, he does, but the vibe gets killed real quick because Kit and Wildcat are like, "Yeah, we do."
Oh, Baloo's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are here. That's right."
Shit. I brought Becky to babysit you guys.
Yeah, oops, I thought you guys were still out there with her on the plane, awkward or wherever.
I guess we're staying in the car and getting dropped off somewhere else here.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah, it's awkward now. But Kit and Caboodle does pull up a golf cart, and there is enough room for Wildcat and Kit in the back, so they sit in the back. And she drives off to, like, give them the studio tour. And they're basically gone by the time Becky gets her way out of the car. She got stopped by the driver to be like, "Where's my tip, by the way?"
Yeah.
So she got caught up dealing with that. Becky's not having a good time so far. Yeah. She's basically, like, stuck wandering the studio lot herself, trying to find them. Again, they're in a golf cart. Understandably, she's pretty pissed. She's kind of like wandering in and out of the sets. At one point, she wanders onto a set and she's like, "Baloo, Baloo," kind of like calling out for him, not watching where she's going. And she runs right into someone. Ends up being a cameraman who is all bandaged up. Like, at first she was like, "Oh, are you in a mummy costume?" And he was like, "No, I'm a cameraman for that stupid new Kit and Caboodle movie. I got hurt working on this cursed film like everyone else is getting."
Yeah.
So, two things. One, first of all, we did see her almost get hit by that light. Now we're hearing that he also was hurt. Perhaps a curse. Again, that's currently the working theory that this cameraman is giving. Two, we saw the cameraman on, like, when that first filming scene was happening, we saw him unbandaged. Clearly this accident recently happened, but we also see him later on still being a cameraman, still bandaged. And all I could think was, where was Ayatsi?
Thank you.
One of our favorite film industry unions.
Where are they?
Get on this set stat. This cameraman needs your help. He should not be working under these conditions.
Yeah, this Disney multiverse has a lot of issues on film sets, just like that Darkwing Duck episode.
Yep, it is. There's a lot of they need some unionizing here.
They need
Disney was like, we can't write in unions, otherwise our staff will want to unionize. We can't give the cartoons union if we don't give people unions. Tokens. If we can't see them, they can't see us. Situation here with a union.
Amazing.
So, yes, Becky is, like, a little hesitant at first to be like, "Okay, a cursed movie set, like, are you sure you're not just clumsy?" Like, this cameraman is an elephant, by the way. So, like, she's like, "Are you sure you're not just a huge fucking elephant working on a film set?" Yeah. But the current set that they're standing on is for a later scene in this movie. And as they're talking, the entire backdrop falls on them, and Becky just jumps out of the way, barely missing her. It does fall on the elephant again. So again,
this poor guy.
This man's at least got to get workers' comp, like something.
Like at this point, this set needs to be shut down, though.
Exactly, yeah. Curse or not, get someone something. Get some union reps in here. Get Inspector Burrow in here. This is not.
Where's he at? Yeah.
Where's Inspector Ike Burrow? Get in here. Inspect this set.
Someone bring a hammer, please. These things are not properly nailed up. At a minimum, close it down to rehammer some shit.
Exactly. Hire a new crew here. So eventually, Becky finds Baloo. I guess, assuming that she helped the elephant or something like that. But she does eventually find Baloo, where he is posing for some promo shots for this movie. And she's like, pretty pissed when she sees him. Like she had kind of forgotten that she was mad for being ditched when she was like, oh, I almost just died. But when she sees him, she's like, oh, right. I was pissed at Baloo for like ditching me and leaving me alone.
Yeah.
So she's like, where the heck have you been? Like some friend you're being, like sticking by my side. And Baloo, like, he does apologize. He's like, no, you're right. Like, the studio, like, as soon as, like, they and, like, Kiki realized, like, I was on set, they wanted me to do some promo shots. Again, getting that press going a little more. Oh, I forgot to mention, too, that when the backdrop set did fall, the paparazzi was there and also took pictures of, like, the elephant. Yeah. So, like, word is
under
spreading.
rubble.
Yes, that like this is a curse set. Like word is getting out there. So so I think Blue's like they wanted to do some promos, so I need to take some pics. And Becky is like, okay, that does kind of make sense. Like Hollywood is demanding, okay. But Baloo, I do have to tell you, like some weird shit is going on, like on this movie set. Like I almost just died. I talked to someone who has almost just died twice now.
Twice.
We saw
he's a
like
fucking elephant. Okay,
he's an elephant. He
that
almost
is
died.
hard to take down. Yeah, twice.
If he survived that fall, it would have killed me. I'm just a small bear, not an elephant. And like that light certainly would have killed Kitten Caboodle too.
Yes,
but she's cut off of doing this explanation because Blue's like, wait, what are you talking about, Becky? Like cursed? But she is cut off because Kitten Caboodle comes/saunters on over and takes Baloo by the arm and tells him it's time for their lunch break. And so, of course, Baloo is like, yeah, Becky, we'll deal with the curse or blurse or whatever you said's going on later.
Blurse.
I gotta go.
Blurse, something.
So burst, merce, purse. You lost your purse? Okay, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye out. Yeah.
I'll tell someone to check the lost and found or some shit. You'll figure it out. You're a smart kid. So yes, he immediately goes with Kitten Caboodle off in the limo to lunch. And I was like, in this moment, I was like, Becky, girly, like, go tell Kitten Caboodle what you've been hearing. Like, clearly Kitten Caboodle has a platform here. The paparazzi are following her everywhere. Like, use that star power to start saying that the studio, like, standards and safety is not up to par. Raise some help, get a strike going. Like,
exactly, force a change.
Exactly. But if Becky is anything, it's stubborn. So instead of asking for help, she storms off angrily and decides to just like go have lunch somewhere else on set. Like whatever. Screw them, basically. But as she's sitting there drinking coffee and like having some lunch, you know, on like kind of some other set, there's a handful of actors there and there's like a commotion from above. And all the actors are just like, not again. And they just like pick up their lunches and like all step back like 10 feet because from the sky, someone hilariously ends up being the turkey from like my first episode, smashes down onto the table that all the actors were sitting and eating at. And all the actors then just sit back down and continue eating. They're like,
Thanksgiving came early this year.
Yeah, they start eating turkey. They're like, ooh.
Was he fried?
Fresh.
Got some electric workup or something? Yeah.
Pre-cooked.
Yeah, cool. Wow, guys, they never pay. They never give us food. How kind of them.
God, this is because we can't take Thanksgiving off. They're conning us.
Yeah.
This is a trick.
Wow. But really, though, that's absolutely horrible that they're like, all right, guys, back up.
3, 2, 1.
This is, yeah.
Literally, none of them come to help him. Becky runs up. She has to like move the paparazzi aside, who have all, of course, started taking pictures of this fall.
Yeah.
And she helps him get up, which clearly, like, this man is not okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you seem to have not nailed that stunt. Like, maybe you shouldn't be a stuntman.
The set's over there.
She's literally like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. And he's like,
yeah,
I'm not a stuntman. I'm the accountant for the Kit and Caboodle movie. I would be
No.
insane to be the stuntman for this movie. Like, whoever is actually doing the stunt is a goner at this point.
Oh no. Oh my
Oh no,
God.
it's right.
Oh no. Jesus. What the fuck is going on with this movie if even the accountant's getting yeeted through the sky?
The accountant didn't move enough numbers, and the curse said, nope, just you right out a
Catapult.
window.
Yeah.
Out with you.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, of
No,
course,
this is
Becky,
so
much
bad.
like you, and that reaction,
Yeah.
hearing that news, said, I know who the stuntman's about to be
Yeah.
on this cursed
Uh-oh.
ass film set.
How mad am I at Baloo? Like the calculation she's
We've
running
all
through her
had that
brain.
moment with someone being
Yes.
like,
I love this person, but how much of a lesson do they need to learn?
exactly. At what point do I need to intervene? Maybe
Exactly.
they've all survived their accidents,
Yeah, exactly. It's, and they've come out
But-
better people for it.
but they've all
Almost
been
always.
working with a calculator and then being thrown out the window, not doing a stunt in the sky, which is already inherently dangerous.
Yeah,
She sips her coffee to contemplate for at least a little bit to really
Yeah.
think about it. He did say we're friends, but he's not acting like a friend.
I do need a pilot to make my business work.
to keep money
Fuck.
going.
She calls Kit, how much do you know about flying the sea duck?
How old are you? When's the child labor
Yeah.
law out of? When are you out of that zone? 13?
13?
16? All right, I guess I gotta go help Baloo.
Yes.
4 more years.
As if she's never looked that law up before. That's hilarious. 16. Shit.
What?
All right, we go
All
find
right.
Baloo.
Yeah, all right. I guess I'll save him for at least 4 more years here. So, yes, Becky asks around, basically being like, what's Kit and Caboodle's favorite lunch spot? So I can go basically tell them and, like, yes, ask for help. And so she figures out where they're having lunch. It's a very fancy actors only restaurant.
Of
She,
course.
yes, is able to like sneak her way in through some shenanigans. And as she sneaks in, she finds Kit and Caboodle and Baloo having lunch in like a back private booth of the restaurant. And right as she's approaching, because again, she snuck in, so she's being sneaky, she hears Kitten asking Baloo about his girlfriend, Becky, at which Baloo balks and says, Becky? No, she's only my boss. So at this,
won't they? Will they?
now we're flipping that coin back on the won't they party, folks.
Yeah.
Take your money off, will they?
Yes.
Move it over to won't they?
Move it on over. Until next week. We'll see.
Until next week. Find out more. Tune in next week.
Goddamn sitcoms. They got us.
Of course, Becky is fuming when she hears this. She jumps out, obviously being pissed, yelling at Baloo, being like, really? Just your boss? She takes his lunch, as we know, Becky, calm, cool, collected, and throws it in Baloo's face. And starts assaulting him with a baguette from the table. Starts hitting him with it.
Self-defense.
Obviously, the
heart.
restaurant of her heart. Will they?
I've been able to convince people with the baguette to love me too.
I mean, I love a baguette. So if I see someone with a fresh, warm baguette, I'm not asking a lot of questions anymore. I'm interested. So yes, they kick her out of this restaurant. They drag her kicking and screaming out onto the street. Also, they're like, you are not an actor. But Baloo runs out after her. Obviously, his friend is in distress. And he's like, Becky, what is going on? And she crosses her arms and angrily says, you said we're friends. Why did you say that we weren't? Which I'd be like, I said we weren't boyfriend, girlfriend. She didn't say that. But yes, he did say boss instead of just friend. So, okay, fine. Yeah. But Baloo is like, Becky, are you jealous? And Becky says, "What? Jealous of a blonde bombshell whose body could stop a moose at 50 paces? No."
You mean a bleach blonde, bad built butch body?
So yeah, Becky is like, "Me jealous of that? How? No,
No.
of course not." And Baloo is
Aw.
like, "Okay, great. I'm glad to hear it." But Blue's not quite as dumb as we think he is in this moment.
Okay.
He does see Becky is indeed still mad and a little jealous. And he sits down next to her on a bench and is like, "Look, Becky, you're smart, you're capable. Kitten Caboodle keeps dragging me away because she probably feels intimidated by you. Like, Kitten
Yeah.
Caboodle's not that smart, she's not that clever, and we know how sensitive actors are and movie stars. They've got some fragile egos, and I really don't want to get fired from this movie. Like, I'm so excited about doing this stunt. We're gonna get paid a lot of money, remember?"
Money,
So like,
please.
I'm trying to say money, please. So I'm trying to suck up right now. And like, you're right. She probably doesn't like you because she's intimidated. So Becky like relaxes at this. She's like, "Yeah, I am way smarter than her. You're right, Blue. I am.
And I'm way more beautiful too. You're right.
I'm great. Right? Right. Should I say that?
You also said I'm a better actress than her, right? Too. She's like,
because you thought I wasn't mad in that moment, which I am.
I am a better businesswoman than her. You're right. Yeah,
I do run a better air cargo company than she does, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Baloo.
I knew it. Thanks, buddy. So, yes, Becky relaxes and then she's like, "Oh, right. The reason I actually came here was this whole accident thing. Your life is probably at threat. This is a cursed set, etc., etc." And Baloo is like listening and he's like, "Okay, you are gathering some pretty good evidence of this situation. Like, this is seeming more than just like a simple accident."
Yeah.
But Kitten, of course, walks out at this point to see if everything's okay. A woman did just get dragged kicking and screaming after attacking her stuntman from the restaurant. Just gotta
go check on him.
Make sure the paparazzi isn't taking pictures of them, but me
without
solving this problem.
Yes.
Type of thing. So, yes, everything seems okay. And Kitten is like, "Okay, great. I'm glad this seems like the violence has ceased, essentially." But like, Baloo, we need to go. Like, our next appointment is up. Like, movie star, you got a tight schedule to keep all the time. Let's go back to set. So Baloo, of course, immediately is like, "Okay, Kitten. Okay, Kiki," and just follows her again like a little puppy love right into the limo, leaving Becky in the dust. He is, if you will, smitten with Kitten.
God, I hate you. I'm leaving.
Well deserved.
Gotta go.
It's fine. I'll talk to myself for the rest of this.
Okay, all right. Just I was getting ready to like turn my camera off, but
it'll fuck up the whole system. We know that.
Exactly. I don't want to touch anything.
We can't even breathe on our setups. Ever.
It will explode.
So Becky at this point is like, "Did I just get gaslit by Baloo? Like, he just shoved me out of the way. Like, he did not gaslit, but he just like did not listen to a fucking word I just said. Like,
super ignored and belittled."
Exactly. So she's like, "I'm taking this to the top. I'm going to the fucking executives at this movie studio to basically protest these unsafe conditions." Again,
all right.
She could have used a union to back her up and to rally the troops. She would have been on that picket line.
Yes.
Calling those chants out.
And she's not even eligible to be in the union.
Exactly. She would have joined. She would have done all the paperwork to join that union, got a union job, et cetera, to help march.
Gotten a role in whatever freaking commercial or I guess that's an actor's union. Like, I can hold a boom mic. Give me here. This is all I got to do. Sign me up. Boom mic in
one hand, megaphone in the other hand. Let's go, bitch.
Beautiful.
So, yes. Becky storms into like one of the offices on the lot. But she pauses at the door to one of the offices where she hears voices arguing behind it. And she kind of puts her ear on the door and like peeks through the keyhole to see who's in there. And on the other side is the director from the beginning, the platypus. And he's
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
to his assistant saying, well, yes, of course, I feel bad about the accidents, but the public is loving them. This
Oh
is
no.
creating such hype, such intrigue about this movie to have a curse. This is going to guarantee big box office success. I might even win an Oscar for this movie this time.
There's
So
a 50-50 real world chance of that happening. You could either be Alec Baldwin in Rust or you could be Brandon Lee in The Crow. One movie
exactly.
continued on and did very well. One movie was like, fuck that, we're done.
It's
No
a high
more.
risk, high reward that this platypus director
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
open to taking, you know?
He's like, we
He
got a
feels
50-50 shot, guys. That means I only see a win.
those are
Why
good
not?
odds, you know?
Yeah. In Hollywood, those are great odds.
In Hollywood, it's sometimes the best you can
Sorry,
ask
Wood.
for. This movie's
Yes.
already paying for itself at the very least.
Oh, God.
Becky, of course,
I'm
gasps
scared. I don't like where
at
this is going.
this. And she is about to run and be like, fuck, 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 I gotta go report this.
Yeah.
But the door flies open and she's still like leaning on it. So she tumbles right into the room.
Mm.
Now, where most people would probably try to lie their way out of what the fuck they're doing there,
Yeah. Becky's not
Becky
most people.
is not most people. She's a bear.
Yeah. Becky's not people.
She's not even a person. She's a bear.
Fuck.
She immediately starts laying into the director and the assistant director, being like, I know what's going on here. I'm going to expose you. I'm going to bring this straight to the top. Like going on and on. But, you know, we had seen the director's walls like lined with awards, sans an Oscar, apparently. And
Mhm.
like most people successful in Hollywood, he ignores the accusations made against him.
Absolutely.
And he
Turn that
simply,
PR machine around.
oh yeah. He simply says, finally, that actress that I sent for is finally here. Someone get her into makeup and wardrobe. We thought you were running behind. And honey, you don't need to keep acting. You already got the part. So
Ah.
he thought that she was just there yelling at him for a bit. So
Mhm.
the crew takes her, drags her on away. And then, yes, you have a thought?
Now, this may actually have some benefit to it because she is now eligible, at least for the Screen Actors Guild.
She's like, you know what? Yeah, she doesn't go kicking and screaming this time.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
She's
good, now
actually
I
saying,
can
oh,
get
could
in
you
the
sign
union.
this?
Yeah, it's a union contract.
Exactly. I'm going to
Amazing.
file my paperwork on the way there. Can we stop by the post office? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the next moment we see Becky, she is in her full, like, I think it's like what, Anne Darrow, in AKA the original King Kong movie. She's
Oh,
wearing like
no,
the
yeah.
tattered dress, the
Amazing.
big poofed hair. She's in the fist of a mechanical King Kong, slowly
Oh,
being drawn towards its chomping giant jaws,
yeah.
screaming and trying to get out. And the director is like, she is incredible. She's a natural. So
She's the whole kit and caboodle.
rebrand. Let's go.
Yeah. Kit and
We gotta
caboodle, we're
start.
changing your name.
I could see her hair being bleached blonde. Wait a second.
What if they're like, Kit and caboodle, your new name is Rebecca Cunningham?
Downgrading you. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yes, Becky is actually screaming and kicking because she's like, I don't want to be
Yeah.
doing this. And also like,
Yeah.
and this is like, you know, all, you know, the sets are obviously in giant warehouses. This King Kong situation is like the entire warehouse, like floor to ceiling.
Mm.
And it's kind of on like a little like train track, like the arm and like fist that's holding Becky is like slowly on a
Yeah.
train track, like approaching the mouth part of the King Kong, like the head, that again is like chomping as if it's about to eat her. And so the director yells, cut. they got to run it from the top a couple more times, get a couple different angles, play with the lighting, movie shit. But the King Kong fist doesn't stop moving towards the jaws. And the director calls cut again and again. And we see the mechanic who's like controlling it. Basically like there's like levers that control this little train track.
Okay.
And not only are they not working, but they break completely off, meaning that Becky is about to crash into these giant metal teeth and get crushed.
Okay.
But the track that the fist was moving on does get stuck. It like snags, and Becky is like thrown out of the fist, narrowly avoiding the collision with the mouth, and is able to crawl down.
Wow.
So now Becky is 2 for 2 on surviving near-death experiences here on the same set, all on the same day.
She only survived this one because of another malfunction, too. It's like she was about to get killed by one malfunction, but another malfunction stopped her from getting killed by the first malfunction.
Yeah, a negative and negative makes a positive situation.
Positive.
Curse
This is
and
a
a
very
curse
net
equals
positive.
survival.
A blessing.
Yeah, exactly. Curse and a curse equals blessing. It's science.
Yeah.
So Becky is able to like crawl down and that kind of stuff. And as she gets to like the studio floor, it's chaos there. Again, the paparazzi is there. They're all starting to question the director, who's like, no questions, please. And she notices kind of back further on the set that there's a shadowy figure we see kind of like in a dark cloak with a hood running away. And Becky is like, sure, we're on a Hollywood set. This could be literally an extra to any film. She decides to chase after this figure.
Of course.
But as she starts running, she runs directly into Baloo, crashing into him, who is currently carrying a bouquet of flowers. And Baloo is upset that Becky ran into him. He kind of like yells at her for a second because she almost ruined the bouquet of flowers he bought for Kiki, for Kitten Caboodle.
Ah, damn. Yeah. Baloo.
Yep. And Becky at this point is like, my dude, you need to focus. I almost just died. You are definitely about to die.
You're about to die. Yeah.
But of course, Kitten walks over to gather Baloo for his next appointment. And they're literally like, both of them are on either side of Baloo. Becky is like trying to tug him towards her. And Kitten just needs to like put her arm through his, and he immediately gives her the flowers and goes off with him. And Becky shouts after him that he is being a bad friend. But Becky's not a bad friend. She knows the stunt is the next morning. And even if he won't help himself, she will help him because that's what friends do. So she decides that she's going to go to the stunt plane that he has to fly the next morning, first thing the next morning, and basically stake it out overnight to make sure that nobody fucks with it. Because again, she's like, I'm going to help my friend not die since he's not going to take this seriously. But she's dozing off while she's on watch because, of course, she's trying to stay up all night. It's been a long near-death experience-filled day. She is tired. But she awakens to hear the sound of metal, kind of like metal on metal. And she was like kind of like hiding down in the cockpit where she also had kind of like fallen asleep. And so she jumps up to see again that black cloaked figure with the hood fucking with the engine of the plane. She, of course, shouts, telling this figure to stop, understandably.
Stop, right.
Please don't do this. And jumps out of the cockpit. Though it doesn't seem like anything too horrible happened with the engine yet. She caught them like pretty on time. But of course, the figure starts running and Becky sprints after it, giving way to a long chase scene throughout various sets across this whole studio. And eventually, Becky, like a badass, gets close enough to throw herself at the figure and absolutely tackle it, like full on football style, right at the hips, like take it down.
Damn.
And she rips off the hood of the figure and gasps to see who it is underneath.
Mm. Da-doom, da-doom. Oh God.
It
Does the
is,
hood come off in slow motion?
and the hair is glowing.
Blows up.
It's like she doesn't even have hat hair. She doesn't even have hood hair.
Hood hair now.
Perfectly coiffed. Her every strand is in place still.
No.
It is kitten caboodle.
Oh
And
God.
Becky like jumps off and is just like, what the fuck? Like, why are you causing all the accidents? And
Yeah.
Kitten immediately is crying and she confesses. She's like, yes, it was. But like,
That was
Rebecca,
easy.
yeah, Rebecca, but you don't understand what's happening. Like, this goes beyond me. It's all so terrible. And at this point, she's like,
Oh.
head like turned away towards Becky, like hand out, like,
Okay.
you can't help me. I'm in too deep.
Cool down. He's back here. He's back, kitten. Yeah. Oh no.
It's funny because as soon as Kitten says, but it's also terrible, Becky says, yeah, so is your acting. So
Oh,
exactly what you
damn.
just said. Simmer, girl, simmer. Yeah,
Yeah. Go
Becky
off,
saw through
Becky.
it too. And yes, at this, Kitten Caboodle snaps right out of that shitty act.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, all right, fine. It was me. And she like rips off her cloak. She's got that tight dress on underneath still. She can still look fab and be evil.
Kind of impressive,
And
actually.
yeah, she was sprinting around this movie set in like a
Exactly.
bodycon dress.
Yeah.
Her evil has no bounds, basically. And she tells Rebecca, my last two movies were a flop. My career is on ice. I need the publicity. Simple as that, sweetheart. And she checks herself in the mirror. They're walking by and says, now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get my beauty rest.
Oh, girl, you're not just gonna get away with this. Fuck.
Becky stops her horrified and says, but you've been risking people's lives all for yourself. Kitten says, that's showbiz, baby. And that bitch does just walk away.
What the
slow motion even. Becky doesn't can't even stop her again.
Yeah. Becky's too amazed by how beautiful she is. She's
exactly.
like, she's right. I can't grab her.
Is showbiz. That's absolutely showbiz. Which, by the way,
what do I do?
It's one of my favorite responses for like creating any inconvenience in anybody's lives. I love just my response being, "That's showbiz, baby," as if it's relevant. It's a really good comeback.
You're the star of your own life, and that is
exactly main character energy.
Amazing, yes.
But Becky yells after her after she snaps out of the starry eyes that she's getting around Kitten Caboodle. And Becky says, yeah, well, I'm going to tell Baloo. Again, I don't know why she's not telling the cops or whatever, but like, she doesn't really have evidence beyond saying like, I saw this actress, and the actress will say, we'll act her way out of it. Like, I don't know what her plan is.
No, the same thing she just did.
Terrible. You wouldn't understand.
I feel like I'm going to faint.
Someone catch me. Someone catch me.
Someone peeks an eye open.
Someone, not you, him. Catch me.
Him. Strong man.
Exactly. No, you're not mysterious enough. Who hired you? You're fired. So, yes, Becky is like, I'm going to tell Baloo. And Kitten Caboodle says, as again, she saunters away kind of into the darkness of the movie set and says, go for it. He's wrapped around my finger and will never believe you at this point. It's not true.
Yeah.
Especially,
unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, we see the next morning on set, Becky runs up Baloo, who he's in his full costume, which is just like a full, like classic old school aviator, leather jacket, long white scarf situation. And Becky is like, here's everything I just saw. She's behind it all, et cetera, et cetera. I ripped the mask off. Her hair was still perfect. That's how I know it was her. Like, who else could have such perfectly coiffed hair as a blonde bombshell? But Baloo just thinks she's jealous. At this point, he fully pushes like Becky off of him and is like, your jealousy has gone too far. And
Yeah.
Kitten walks up smiling and again gets Baloo by the arm. She looks straight at Becky in the eyes and says, I told you so. And then she
God, I
grabs
hate this
Baloo by
bitch.
the scarf and he follows her like a little puppy. And she says, are you ready for the stunt, my Baloozy woozy? I will say, he goes in for a
Bleh.
smooch and she just avoids it.
Oh,
He still
damn.
follows her
Dodge like the
without
plague.
exactly.
Wow.
And he just follows her still, no hesitation. And Becky,
Yikes.
in one last, almost her last plea, I will say, runs up to Baloo and says, please, as a friend, don't do this stunt. But Baloo, who looks at Kitten now and who looks fucking pissed that Becky dares still speak near her, breathe the same air as her,
Mm.
nonetheless,
Yikes.
Baloo looks at Becky and says, I thought I was a bad friend. I thought we were no longer friends, Rebecca.
Government name coming out.
Government
Yikes.
name. After at the
He's mad.
beginning, she said, call him Becky, we're friends
Mm-mm.
now. He is no longer
Mm-mm.
friends. We are
Mm-mm. Enemies.
solidly in the won't they category now.
Oh, yeah. We're no longer friends. We're not
We're
friends.
unfriends.
Unfriends. Amazing.
But Becky, Rebecca, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, she knows Baloo is just being a jerk. This ain't him.
Yeah.
He's blinded by this temptress, by this evil woman. She sees no
Yeah.
other choice to save Baloo's life. And so she sprints in front of Baloo and Kitten and jumps into the cockpit of the plane, even though she knows it's been tampered with, and
Oh my
flies
gosh.
away before Baloo can even reach it. Which Becky does also know how to fly. We've seen her in other episodes
Oh,
flying and
okay.
stuff.
Yeah, that is true. I was like, this
Everyone at
doesn't
Higher
sound
for
like it's going to be
Hire
good.
knows how to
Yeah.
fly. But I mean, still not good because it's been tampered with.
Yeah.
And Baloo is currently screaming at her from the ground, like, stop being so stubborn, stop being so dramatic, you dramatic
Yeah.
woman, fueled with jealousy,
Your emotions.
in your high emotions. Um, and that is until Kit and Wildcat sprint up to him and they're like, hey, Blue, you should probably stop yelling because, and they hold up a piece of the engine that just fell from the sky down onto the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Blue cuts the shit, basically, finally.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I don't know a lot, but I know that you need that to fly a plane.
But I know about planes. My actually
Yes.
only thing I love in this world. So
Yes.
Baloo, yes, pretty confident that not only Becky was telling the truth, but realizing
Mm-hmm.
that she chose to sacrifice herself for him because she wouldn't listen
Mm.
like a true friend would. So
Yeah.
there is another plane on set, and Baloo runs into it, or yeah, jumps into it and rips off
Yeah.
into the sky. We're at this point, like Becky's plane is like really high up in the sky, but it's full malfunctioning. It's like full failure. Like there's all these alarms going off. Like she can't even control it. And
Mm.
Baloo maneuvers his plane. Obviously, he's an incredible pilot to be like right next to hers. Like she's going like straight down basically. And so he
Yeah.
like pulls up next to her. So the cockpits are next to each other. And he holds out his hand and tells her to grab it before these planes crash. And
Mm.
remember how I said
Intense.
Becky's a little stubborn?
Yeah, a
She
little.
a little bit. She
Yeah.
crosses her arms because also there's no use in trying to steer this plane like it's fucking crashing. And she
Yeah.
says,
No.
no, I'm not taking your hand until we talk.
Oh, is
And
this like a metaphor?
Baloo rightfully is like, girl, what the fuck? Like, can't
Yeah.
this wait until we're on the ground, not in body
Yeah.
bags? Like,
Uh-huh.
girl, it's not the time to have a
Mm.
chit chat.
I mean, hey, if you want to resolve the issue and win the argument, might as well. Now's the time, though. Like
Becky
you
does
must
say,
conclude this, or I will die. We will
Becky
die.
does say, we're having this heart to heart now. And I add
God.
on, or else our hearts are stopping because we're about to crash and die into this ground.
It's literally the last opportunity to have a heart-to-heart in our
have
lives,
a heart.
quite possibly.
Yeah. In a metaphorically and literal way, because
yes,
we've got 30 seconds before we plummet to our deaths here.
Got about 200 feet to go.
Yeah. So Baloo is like, fine, what do you want? Which, like, again, like we were just saying, a wild time to have a talk. Like, they always say, you know, having hard conversations, it's all about the timing of them. You know, you don't want to like bombard someone with a serious topic when they're already in a bad place. And like, I don't know if facing death is the right time, but Baloo did decide to hear her out. So I guess my messaging here is like, I don't know, watch out, Justin, next time we have an argument and we have to talk it out. I might just wait until we're careening towards our deaths to bring it up.
On death's door.
So you might have to talk to me about it, and I will hold on to it and wait until that moment, undoubtedly, until our planes are crashing. And I'll bring up something we thought about 4 years ago that I knew I was in the right about.
Take notes, everybody.
This is strong relationship advice. Thanks.
Exactly.
TaleSpin.
Thank you.
Wait until you're in a TaleSpin and then have the hard talks.
Be told you're correct.
Exactly. Which is exactly what she does. Becky says, you said we were friends, and then you never treated me like one. Friends trust each other and stick together. You said it yourself. And Baloo, again, checking the like altitude of like, all right, we're at 175 feet. We're moments away from death here. Says, yes, Becky, you're right. Or Rebecca, you're right. I haven't been a good friend or a friend at all. And like, Becky's like, oh, that worked? Oh,
that was easy.
She's like low-key shocked about this. And so she takes his hand. He pulls her right into his arms.
She's shocked that he actually didn't want to die in like 20 seconds. Wow, I thought you were actually ready to go.
Oh, all right. Becky's like, am I going to go write the art of the deal?
She's like, you know what? Well, since we have some more time, remember that one time that
you were late for work a lot. We need to talk about that.
Yeah. It's like, while we're here, I guess there's a few other grievances I want to clear up.
Yeah, we've had some HR complaints, aka complaints by me to me. I am also
to
HR.
Me about you.
We gotta talk about this. So yes, after airing up the grievances between them here, yes, she does hop into his plane right as her plane, crashes into the ground and fully explodes. And on the ground, Kitten Caboodle sees all of this and starts throwing a tantrum, saying he was supposed to crash in a horrible accident. Like that was supposed to be the piece de resistance of this curse. But
ma'am,
remember how
say that out loud.
Hollywood starlets are always surrounded by paparazzi, no less when they're making front page news for a cursed set. Well, of course, they all catch this tantrum on camera, this essential admission of guilt. Immediately, the cops come, cuff her, cart her away, which unfortunately, if she can nail that mugshot, this is gonna be the comeback of her career, which is what she wanted in the end.
No. Dang.
And she's gonna nail it. So, like,
of course she is.
At first, I was like, justice. And then I was like, no, this is gonna promote her movie even more. She's gonna get a light sentence. She's gonna pay it off. She's gonna be able to be on the red carpet. That mugshot is she's gonna look great. It's gonna work for her.
It will not mess up the world tour.
No, what world tour? She knows what world tour.
Exactly.
Because it's actually happening. Exactly. Yes. So yes, in the end, she still kind of got what she wanted, I would say. But so did Baloo and Becky because they hug. And we'll have to tune in next week because we're back on the will they, won't they gray area.
Damn it. And I thought you were going to tell me that Baloo got down on one knee, proposed, and they were... I was really hoping for the will they, won't they to be settled this week.
But Kid and Wildcat are right there, so it's not that romantic. Or is it? Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe is it the ring bearer and the best man? Maybe, who knows? Or actually, no. Wildcat would actually absolutely be the officiant.
Yeah, well, Kit would be the ring bear.
Yeah, bear, the ring bear. Which, speaking of Ted and Robin, or did I say Ted and Robin? I did before, right? From How I Met Your Mother with the will
Yes,
they, won't they
yes,
thing. That was the whole thing
exactly.
with Barney. He was like, is it a ring bear or a
Bear
ring
or ring
bearer? And it was the
bearer?
running gag, like, which one are you going to have at our wedding? A
Yes, a
bear or a
bear,
little boy? He's like,
boy,
I
or a
don't
bear.
know.
The ring
He's like,
bear.
yeah, it's called the ring bear. So I got a ring bear.
Bear. What are you
Oh, what does
confused
that
about?
mean? Yeah.
And Kit is like, why does everyone keep saying this to me?
Why does it
Also,
stop? I'm
what
the ring bear.
wedding?
Well,
So,
yeah. Are you guys in love? What? I thought you were just
what? Pre-spin.
friends. Come back next week to find out.
Until next time.
Oh my God.
So,
Amazing. Great
thank
job.
you. Thank
I
you.
cannot wait. I've got to see Kit and Caboodle. I've got to
Oh,
see, although I've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit enough times, I think, to have a decent
yeah.
idea.
Except Jessica Rabbit is incredible. No notes. Everything
Yeah.
she does is
Above
great.
and
Kid and Caboodle
beyond.
turns out to be
Yeah.
bad. So,
Yeah,
there's
true.
that.
That's true. Yeah.
But yes,
Amazing.
so there you
Wow.
go.
We love a good IATSE centered episode or
We always
just
come
like
back to
set
it.
Hollywood set curse, you know?
Yes.
It's
It's a gift that
yeah,
keeps on giving.
it is. Yeah. Common
Yes.
trope in classic animated shows, I would say.
Yes. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
honestly never get tired of it. I do always
Me
love it.
neither. I'm here for it. It's
Yeah.
apparently it's a real thing too. Like a lot of stage plays and theater kids and
Yeah, there's a
stuff
lot
will
of
say like,
curse
yeah, dude.
rumors.
Yeah. So
And if you
apparently
don't
the people
listen,
writing this are like, yeah,
they've been in
we
one or
lived through
two.
those rumors of curses. Yeah. We're
And
gonna write
we
all the
all
shows
know
we
that if
can.
you don't listen to the notes to leave box 6 open at your opera, hell will come raining down
Yes,
upon you.
upon you.
So watch out. Don't go to a masquerade ball if you're getting those threats because it's about to
No.
go down. Masquerade.
Organ music.
Masquerade. All right, anyways, between now and next
Beautiful.
week, who should our listeners and viewers
Yeah.
tell about our show?
I can't remember what we said on the old episodes where we've like talked about curse sets before.
Mm.
So I hope we didn't say this, but tell a stunt person,
Oh,
you
nice. I would have
know?
done that.
Yeah, I don't think we did that either. So tell a stunt person because they're gonna look at this like, damn, how many times in my life has a movie production tried to end my life?
Yeah, true.
And they might have some trouble listening to this episode. So
It
maybe
might be
a trigger
triggering.
warning now that we're at the end of this. But
Yeah,
yeah,
whoops.
tell us not
Sorry.
person.
Well, when you tell that person, give them the trigger warning for us in advance.
Yeah, sure. Since we didn't do it here, but
Yeah, whoops.
oh, I'm sure lots of stunt people listen to this
Yeah,
podcast.
our
So.
lost demo that we're trying to deal to.
Yeah,
You know, they
exactly.
need to relax a little. They have pretty hard fucking jobs.
Right. Who
So
should they
I think
tell?
after that, you should tell a Phantom of the Opera, someone that haunts an opera house.
Amazing.
Our other lost demo, Phantoms of an Opera.
Could
They
you
have
imagine them
so
like
much time on their hands. They can't
could
leave.
you imagine them in like the deep dark corners of the basement or in like the rafters of the opera house, like whipping out a laptop and like logging onto YouTube and just sitting there and watching our podcast? Like someone told me to watch this. I don't know what it's about.
What's
Oh,
a
that's really good. Yeah.
Get that?
Also,
Ooh,
like
having the set fall, that's a good one. The lighting fall, ooh,
who
that's a good
told them?
one.
Like the rats in the basement, like that's who told them. Like the Phantoms of the Opera don't talk to anybody.
They
The random
hear everything that's
poor
happening. There's an
opera goer.
actor
Yeah.
or an usher somewhere listening to our podcast while, like a janitor sweeping up after a
Yeah.
show.
This
The
is
opera
true.
ghost is hearing them down in the sewers and caves and caverns below the opera.
Yes.
All
You
operas are
see them
built
like
on top of caves.
running through the night with their cape flying behind them, like hanging from the rafters, just listening as a
Welcome to
bunch
Saturday
of
Morning Mysteries.
ushers.
We're your hosts. Da, 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 da.
They would hear that organ music and they would immediately be like, this podcast was made for me.
Which now that I think about it, I think we did. Was it a Chippendale episode that definitely was like a Phantom of the Opera, but it was an alligator?
Yes, it was. And then there was my episode that had a curse with like a dude running around in a cloak and stuff.
Yes.
Cursing, fucking up stuff on the set. But
yeah, that's another tried and
yeah,
true. I'll never get tired of a Phantom of the Opera situation.
Yeah, never.
Wow, great.
It's fair.
Well,
it's almost always appropriate.
It's always, not almost always, it's always appropriate.
Always.
Have an opera ghost. Yes. Great. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Till then.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.